Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for March 30th, 2025. I don't know where March went. I just been so busy with work and it's been an interesting month. Let's just put it that way. Ups and downs of stuff. I mean, mostly it's work, but Anyway, so this week was a better reading week for me because I wasn't having to travel every day to the other location. I only went twice, and that kind of helped not to have to drive over there every day, just getting stuff done. So I did read a lot more this time around, which was really nice. And I read a lot of different things. I was very much in the mood reading, like just all over the place. Now, I did decide to DNF one book, and another book is kind of almost DNF, but we'll talk about that one later. So other than that, there's nothing else going on. The only other thing, I might vlog in April. I've been kind of doing it every other month. April is kind of a weird month because I have a gum teeth kind of procedure, dental procedure, I guess I want to say, so in the middle, like on I think the 10th, which I'm not looking forward to. So I'm not sure if during that period I'd be able to vlog at all, but I might do that just because I want to kind of switch up what I'm doing, just because it's fun to vlog. I think you guys like it. We'll see what happens. I'm not doing every day, although I did think about it because it was April, so it'd have been, video every day, or Vita. But I'm not going to do it this year for this month. Maybe August I'll do it again. Who knows? That was kind of a lot. I don't know how you guys are doing it. Who do it every day. But I might do like a couple of days. Not when I finish something, because sometimes I finish a couple in a day. So it's kind of like, it'll be kind of all over the place. So, you'll just be surprised if a video pops up. Anyway, so we'll see how April goes. I just think it's going to be, I'm not sure how it's going to be. And I kind of want to do that for April, because at the end of April is my 8th anniversary for BookTube. So anyway, well, again, that'll come later. So anyway, let's talk about the books that I finished, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. We'll first start off with the official DNF. I did DNF Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. I have come to realize that I like her haunted house and her paranormal more stories rather than her horror. Not because they're bad, not because I wasn't interested in this one, but I got halfway through. I got to page 188, so I was like 57% in. I can't remember what it was, but I didn't want to pick it up, and I just felt like it kept going and going. Again, this is an isolated setting, which is like one of my favorite tropes of when there is a horror element or mystery. And the group of tourists are going up the mountain during the winter time for a 2-week vacation at this lodge, and they don't make it, and because of weather conditions, and then people going missing, and then people start showing up dead, and we don't know if the killer is within the group or without. And I think this is really atmospheric. She's very good about that. I think it's very tension filled, and I think that's also, but I also just lost, this just went on for way too long. I know it's only like 340 pages, but by 188, I was ready for things to be starting to wrap up, and it was not. And clearly I was just over halfway, and I got to the point where I was starting to think about what was going to happen, and it wasn't going the way I thought it should. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not, again, I don't read as much horror as I used to. And when I do read it, I don't know. Maybe I just want it quicker. I don't know. I don't think it's her fault. I really think it's a me problem, because I had the same problem with From Below when I tried to read it, but that was more another horror, but that was water horror, and I do not, that is definitely a horror trigger for me. So I was like, that did not go well with me, especially when one of the characters was being so stupid. Anyway, so that's why I DNF'd that one. So I have decided to get rid of both of these 2 books. I still have a couple other of her horror novels that I will try. Maybe one of the other ones will click for me, but I'm just going to let these go, because I'm not I just didn't vibe with it long enough to, you know, like I tried and then I was like, I don't want to read this anymore. So I'm going to get rid of that. And again, I really love Darcy Coates for her haunted house ones, her paranormal, the Gravekeeper series. I love that series. I'm just not into her horror as much as the other stuff. So anyway, I still have quite a few of the haunted house ones to read, so I will try to read those. And as I said, I have at least 2 of the other horror books, Hunted, and I feel like there's one more, but I don't know. They're on my shelf. Anyway, so I will try to probably read those this year just to either decide they're going on or off my shelf. And I probably won't buy any going forward. If I want to read them, I'll try them from the library, but right now, no. Okay, so that's that one. So let's talk about the books that I finished. So I did read Red Wolf. I think I was reading this on Sunday. So this is book 10 in the Shifters Unbound series by Jennifer Ashley. Again, this is one of those series that I started way back when it came out, and I got partway through it, and then at some point I just lost track. I kept buying them, but I didn't read them. So I'm still behind by quite a few novels. Again, this is book 10. So this one was not a favorite. Actually, this is probably one of my least favorite books in the series, which this beginning of this week, I felt like I was going into a rut because of the books that I read. But I love the 2 leads, who was Dimitri and is it Jackie? JC. And I really love them together. I love their relationship and what they went through for their relationship, because it was a friends to lovers, again, paranormal romance. So they're both shifters. They're different kinds of shifters. They've been friends for years, and they're both trackers. So they are like in the kind of enforcement line in their pack, and they go on a mission trying to find these people who are doing things. So again, this is a world where the shifters came out 20 years before or were exposed, and they were put into these shifter towns, or these kind of rundown parts of town, and they were made to stay there, and they were collared to kind of control them. But they are now 20 years later, they have grown, and they have what they got out of it. They don't want to be there anymore, so they're fighting against it subtly so that the other humans, you know, don't know and freak out. So, but there's other contingencies who are trying, or other groups who are trying to do things that will disrupt everything that they've done for over the 20 years. So this one was that. I didn't like that plot line. I didn't like the characters that we met, except for one that is going to be the main character in the next book. So I'm interested to see more about him. But this was a book, this is actually the first book in the series where I was kind of not, like, I was kind of skimming certain parts because I just didn't care about the plot. I love the characters, but I did not like certain things, that decisions were made and stuff, or the way that it was put together. It was kind of far out in the end too, but I liked how it ended, and we'll go forward, but still not my favorite of the series, unfortunately. So that was kind of not very good. And then I did go back and finish Under a Vampire Moon by Lindsay Sands. This is book 16 in the Argonaut Vampire series. So again, this is another series that's this one's super long. It's in the 30s. Books that and I own like in the 20s, so I own a lot of books still of this series. So I am trying to get through, if I can, one a month or so. I did not like this one. This one again started out with a cool premise, and then it just kind of went downhill. I talked a lot about this last week, of how I wasn't really jiving with it, and but really, this one is about a woman in her 40s who is going through a divorce, and she meets Christian, who is a vampire, kind of gets set up with him. But he looks 25. So she is like, we're not going to have a romantic relationship. I'm, way older than you. And of course with vampires, they're eternals or immortal, whatever. And, so his cousin decides that the only way to get them to be able to spend time together is to pretend that he's gay. And he goes along with it, which I do not agree with. And that was kind of like, it went on too long. And I want to say that I would not recommend this book because it went on 76% of the way through this book before he told her the truth. And I have a big thing about liars and not telling the truth about stuff. So this is, again, I still didn't like one of the other ones. Still, that was my least favorite of this series, but this was a close second. So not a win on this series. I will still continue to the next one. I didn't even look to see what the next one was. Oh, I still have it on the shelf over there because I forgot to put it into my my TBR, so for April. But anyway, just assume that one of these, I'll probably try to get to another one, either in April or May, to continue trying to get through this series. Because again, I bought them all used. I have so many. So I want to get through those at some point. Let's hear. Oh, so then I did a little rereading and read a new volume to Fruits Basket Another by Yasuki Takaya. So I love Fruits Basket. Is one of my favorite mangas. I need to watch the anime series. I've watched the old anime series. I haven't watched the new one, and I need to do that. So anyway, I keep putting it off. Anyway, but this is like a continuation. This is like the kids of the ones who were in the original Fruits Basket. So this is following different characters, and I knew that there were 3 volumes when I bought these. I don't know, was it 2018 and 19? Well, this one came out in maybe 18 and 19. So we got those 3. And then I guess this one number 4 came out like 3 years later in 22. And I did not know about this until I did my book inventory. And I was like, wait, what is that? Well, so I reread the first 3. Again, we're following the kids at the school and the Soma family. And even though things have changed from the series because of what happens in the end of that series, so I'm not going to tell you, but these are, new characters and their situations. Well, this book has the last chapter to this series, which I did own I had bought the ebook because I found out there's a chapter 13 that I didn't have in here that they had released because it was weird at the time. So I bought the ebook. So I had read that before, and I also had what is is it called The Three Musketeers? And it's the three older guys in the main series, and them talking back. It was just ridiculous. It was kind of stupid, but it was another part that's parts of Fruit Basket that I had on ebook, and I had read part of that before. And then the very end of this book just has some really cool artwork and a couple little snippet scenes, like 3 pages of each character, like later in their or at different times of their life, and it was really good. So overall, I still am glad I bought this month and read it, and reread this series because it does finish out the collection. Because even though I did have most of this on ebook, it's nice to have the physical to go with these if I want to reread the whole series again, which I really want to watch the anime, and then I might reread the whole series. But I need to watch another anime first, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But I did really enjoy my reread of this because it had been so long since I read these that I'd forgotten some things, and I couldn't remember how it ended. And then to finally have the end in physical instead of just ebook was really nice. So anyway, I read those and read one of the books I bought this month because, again, I didn't know I was missing that one. Okay, so what did I read next? I think I did this. So then I read Maelstrom, which is book 3 in the Destroyer Man series by Taylor Anderson. So again, I'm doing a reread of the first few books in order to get to books that I have not read before. This is book 3. So I'd read up to book 4. So next April will be the last reread month, and then hopefully after that I'll be reading new books. But this is alternate history following men and women who were on destroyer ships in the middle of a battle at the beginning of 1942, and they went through a squall and ended up in an alternate Earth where evolution has gone a different way. So they have made allies, they have enemies, and they aren't the only ones who came through the squall. So it is this is one of my favorite ensemble casts of all time. I love all these guys. You do have to know that 90% of the characters in here are male at this point. But this world is changing as we get deeper into this. This book is kind of a turning point of things that are happening. So I really, really enjoyed this one. I did listen to this on Audible Plus because it was there. So William Dufris does the audio. I did not love the audio because I have their voices in my head because I've been rereading the first couple books for so many years. So I didn't enjoy it, but it helped me get through it because I was working and I was driving in the truck, which the F-250 for work. So it was nice to listen to a reread as I did that. So I really enjoyed that part of it. I might listen to the fourth one because that's also on Audible Plus to get through my reread of book 4. But then I probably will go back to reading physically because I find, again, his voices are fine, but they're not what I think of them in my head. And but I want to get through my reread. So April, I might read Distant Thunders also by audio. But then after that, I'll probably go back to physical. But I really enjoy these. They're very action-packed and military, so if you're not into any of that, don't read these. And as I said, these are 1940s men, and they're changing their attitudes on certain things, but it's a slow go. It's on certain ones, but mostly I just enjoy this so much because you just root for them and the obstacles that they have to deal with. And as I said, I remember how book 4 goes, so just a little bit, but I know the end, like the cliffhanger. And so I want to get there. So I'm going to get to that probably pretty soon in April. But I did really enjoy my reread. And I'm glad I'm doing this to get through that. So let's see here. I think then I listened to I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. So this is, translated from the French by Roz Schwartz. So I, again, have heard about this for years, especially from books with Emily Fox. This was narrated by Nikki Massard, and I was really interested because I had tried to read this physically a couple of months ago, maybe last summer, maybe in August when I was trying to read Women in Translation. But I couldn't get into it, and I think the audiobook helped get me into it and kind of I just jump-started it because it is, there are chapter breaks, but there aren't that many, it's a very, it's a first-person narrative of a woman she starts out as a girl who is locked up in this cell with 39 other women, and they don't know why they're there, what's happening, and they are just forced to be there, and they're not allowed to do certain things there, and then one day something happens and they are able to get out, and then it's the aftermath and what happens to them and where are they and what's going on in the world and everything. And this is a book that you don't get a lot of answers. So if you're looking for what, all the answers to or anything, you don't know. And it's really an interesting progression. I didn't realize how much time would happen in this book. So I really did like that part. And but it was I found it very interesting, the choices that the author made in this book. And I think this is very much going in my dystopian kind of collection because it is due to certain things in here. And I found it really fascinating how much, at first, I wasn't sure I was going to enjoy this, and then I just got caught up in wondering what was going to happen. So I think overall, I think this worked really well. I think the audiobook helped me a lot to get me into it, to get into her voice and head and stuff. I really enjoyed it. So I definitely know a lot of people have talked about this, and I really did enjoy it. I'm actually surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did because I wasn't sure when I tried it before. So anyway, that was really good. So that was dystopian. I didn't mean to read, but I just one day looked up on my Libby app and it was available, so I got it, and I just listened. As I said, I'm mood reading. I was going all over the place. I just picked stuff up to to read. So then another one that I just picked up randomly, did not even I think it's because it's March Mystery Madness, and so I didn't read a lot of mysteries this week, but I did pick up The Daughter of Time by Josephine Tey. So I have never read anything by her, and I've never read this, is Inspector Grant, I think is the name of the series. And this is like book number 5. So I don't even know if I should read more of this series. But this is the one about him being laid up because he got hurt, and he is solving the mystery around Richard III. And I thought it was fascinating, the stuff they talked about. I mean, I'm hoping everything that she had in there was historically, backing up. But it was really interesting how others had come up with certain themes in other centuries have come up with the reason. Did Richard III actually do away with his 2 nephews, the boys in the tower? And it was really fascinating because I totally bought into his conclusions by the end. I don't actually know. It makes me want to read more up on Richard III and that situation. I really believed him. So I don't know if I want to read more in this mystery series. Because I think this is really different from the rest of the series, because again, those are mysteries, and this one is kind of like a historical mystery. He's looking back at things, and it's much more of a talking book. Like, they are talking about history and stuff. It's not very action heavy or any, like, it is very an intellectual, that kind of argument and stuff. And so I really enjoyed it, and I'm actually really surprised at how much I enjoyed that and why it took me so long to get to this book, because I've heard about this for years, and I never picked it up. And I said I picked it up on a whim, mostly because it was March Mystery Madness, and I was thinking about books that were popular that I hadn't read, that I thought, well, maybe I should, and this is one I wanted to try. So I am glad I got to that. I don't want to say much else, just because I don't want to give away all. It's hard to explain, and it was really short, so it's only a couple hundred pages. It's only a little bit over 200 pages, so it's a really quick listen. I listened. It was Karen Cast who did the audiobook that I listened to from my library. I know there's one out there, another one out there that's probably pretty good, but that was the one I got for free. So that's what I listened to. And then the last thing I finished this week, which I finished yesterday, which was not one I planned to read, but because I went to Pal's Books yesterday, I got there as they opened, and I was still like probably number 8 or 9 back from the line to sell books back. I had 3 bags of books that I took, and I still have 3 more to take now. So then I'll be done, get all the cleared out of my my backlog of stuff to try to get to sell. Anyway, so it took an hour and 40 minutes for me to get my turn, and then it was another like 30 minutes for them to do all the books that I had. So it was a long morning. So what I did is I didn't have anything with me but my my wallet and my cell phone. So I decided to read an ebook, and the next ebook I was going to plan to read was the G.A. Aiken book, the Dragonkin novella that I wanted to get to for in April. I was hoping to, or in March I was hoping to get to them, but I just haven't had time or to read off my ebook. But I got everything set. I charged my ebook for later, but I did read on my phone at first. Can't Get Enough by G.A. Aiken. So this is point 1 in the Dragonkin series. So she wrote this later and published it, or maybe I have to look at I know that it was written at a different time than the series. Like, it was either later or in the middle of it. Anyway, but this talks about 2 dragons who their issues. But this is farther back in time. This is it's the parents of the ones who are ruling at the time in one of the parents. Okay, one of the set of parents of the ones who are ruling the Southlands for the dragons. And so it was really interesting because I kind of I know these names. Why do I know these names? And then it wasn't until the end that it kind of it all matched up, and I'm like, oh, that's why I know that name. That's why I know that. Oh, okay. Well, so it's, again, it definitely is one that you need to read at least after a few of the books, because I don't think the names would make much difference to you, but I really enjoyed it. I do still have 2 more novellas I need to read before I read book 8. So I'm hoping to get to those in early April. So maybe I can get to book 8 in April. If not, I'll get to that in May. But I did really enjoy this. It was about, just about 200 pages. So it wasn't a long ebook. So I said I read about 28% on my phone while I was waiting in line. And then I came home and read the rest. So again, these are just fantasy romances, really a romp and really brutal, but they're just so much fun. I just adore those. So I love Jane Aiken. So again, I have no problem with me reading. I'm just so sad that I'm coming to the end of all the stuff that's been published and I'll have to start waiting. Anyway, but not yet. I still have a couple more. So that's all the stuff I finished, which is quite a lot. So I'm just going to quickly go through the stuff that I'm in the middle of and what I might read, because this is going to go on forever. And as I said, I'm going to try to vlog, so you'll see more of me talking about those books, other books. The audiobook I'm in the middle of right now is An Assassination on the Agenda, which is number 11 in the Lady Hardcastle series by T.E. Kinsey. And I'm listening to this on audio. I just love Elizabeth Nolan's audiobook narration for this series. So I am about 75% of the way through this. I'll probably finish it tomorrow at work, because I should be able to get a couple hours done. I think I have an hour and a half left of the audiobook. I think something like that. So, but I'm really enjoying this one. This one, they are put back into service for the state to try to stop some people from performing some assassination. And again, this is taking place in, I think, July 1912. So it's before the Great War or World War I, and things are leading up to it. So it has some things talking about that stuff that's leading up to it. So anyway, I'm really enjoying this audiobook, and I hope to, as I said, the 12th one comes out in May. So when I finish this, I will be caught up on the Lady Hardcastle, but only for like a month and a half. Then I'll be behind again, unless I pick it up pretty quickly. But I really love the audiobooks for that series, so I am reading that. Physically, I am reading Powerless by Elsie Silver. So I did take a break from this a little bit yesterday in order to finish Can't Get Enough, because I wanted to get that ebook done. But I am about 268 pages in, out of 430, I think. Anyway, so I am really enjoying this. I'm liking the characters, Sloane and Jasper, and what's going on this. Again, this is book 3 in the Chestnut Springs series. So again, I have bought a lot of Elsie Silver over the past few months because I just adored the last 2 books. So I'm really enjoying this one a lot. This is actually might be my favorite so far of the 3, but we'll see what happens in the end. So far, this is my favorite, because even though this is a friends to lovers, which is not my thing, but I really enjoy these 2 characters and the stuff that they've gone through and how they feel about each other, again, from a friend perspective, as well as being around each other for, almost 2 decades. And so I really am enjoying this. As I said, I'm hoping to finish this today, but we will see. But I want to continue my Chestnut Springs series because I have so many books to read. And then I just want to mention 2 books that I am partially through the audiobooks that I started this week at some point. And I'm not sure, one of them I'm not sure I'm going to continue, the other one I will continue, just it might not be this week, we'll see what happens. I did start The Baby Dragon Cafe by A.T. Qureshi. So I am listening to this on audio. It has 2 narrators, Ash Raju and Hunter Johns. So okay. So I had heard really good things about this before, so I bought a copy from Blackwell's and I was going to read it, and then I started, as soon as I bought this copy, I mean, it was on the way to me, and then I started hearing not so great things about this. So this is a cozy fantasy about, there's this town where a lot of people have dragons, and certain dragon families, they're the ones who can ride dragons, and there are baby dragons that will grow up, but they need to be bonded with their riders and stay with them. And so we're following her name just went out of my head, Saphira, and she has done this cafe so that she can see baby dragons, because she is not in one of those families, of course. And so she is kind of hanging on the edge because of all the stuff that dragons, the baby dragons are kind of destructive in the cafe. And then Aiden is from a dragon riding family, but he does not want to participate in any of that. But he has inherited a dragon when his brother passed away. And so he's really kind of he likes to be secluded. He's a gardener. And but he doesn't know how to deal with this dragon. And so he kind of hires her to train the dragon, because the dragon gets along with her really, really well right from the get-go. Okay, so that's all. And so he's paying her, so that helps her with her cafe and stuff. My problem is that there's this undercurrent, or this secondary line about riders doing these races with their dragons that is kind of illegal. And his family is one of those people who do that, even though, they shouldn't, but they do anyway. And his brother did it, but that's not why his brother passed away. It was just another thing. But there's a connection with her and her family somehow that was just revealed. And I'm just like, wait, what? And so, and then I don't know, it's going in a direction where I don't like. I wanted the coziness of the actual, so I'm 25% of the way. I'm at 75, I think I was 25% of the way, at 75 pages. And I thought this was going to be like, stuff in the cafe and her training the dragon, and her trying to get him to help, to be the dragon that, he's supposed to bond with the dragon. He's having trouble with that. And, it has this whole racing thing and this other part going to it. And I don't like it. That's not what I signed up for, I guess is what I want to say. So I don't know. As I said, I have the audiobook out from the library, so I will try again one day. I don't know if it's going to be this week or not, but we'll see. I don't know how to explain that. It's not showing me enough of what the cozy stuff that I wanted from what it says on the back. And they added this whole other thing in there that I'm just not jiving with. Anyway, so I don't know. We'll see. So I'm not sure. That one's it's being thought of. Maybe I might DNF it. And then I think it was earlier this week, I can't remember, where I started Kingdom of the Cursed by Kerri Maniscalco, but my audiobook was about to be sent back to the library because I waited too long to read this, that I had it. I didn't write down the name of the narrator. Anyway, but this is book 2 in the Kingdom of the Wicked series. And I want to read this because, I really liked Kingdom of the Wicked, actually. I was really kind of surprised at how much I liked that. And the twist in the end. And I do want to read this. I only got, as I said, 88 pages in. But my audiobook was going to be taken back, and I just did not feel like reading that day. What I did is I went to Maelstrom, and because I had to drive to the other location. And so I put this down. I'm pretty sure that this was this week. Anyway, but I was like, no, I don't want to read this today. So I gave back the audiobook because I had like 2 days left. And I'm like, I am not going to read this in the next 2 days. And then after I gave it back 2 days later, they said I could check it back out again. So I got it back. So I have it again for a couple of weeks. So I'm hoping this next week to get to this, but we'll see how I feel. But this is following a woman who, a young lady who, her sister in the first book, is killed, and her family are witches, and they're hiding they're hiding that fact, but somebody is killing other witches and stuff. And so she somehow gets it into her head to summon a prince of hell kind of thing. I think that's what their title is. Anyway, but the point is Wrath shows up, and there's a whole thing and what happens. And so this book is kind of the aftermath of what happened in book 1, which was, wow, I was stunned at the end of what happened. I wasn't expecting that. But as I said, it wasn't that this was bad. I really just I just needed my brain, because I was so busy and I just didn't want to listen to something new. That's why I went to Maelstrom, which was something I'd read before. So the audiobook wasn't as critical for me to listen to every single word, because I've read that book several times. So I put this down and I said I gave back the audiobook and I got it back. So I'm hoping this week to get to this and continue with this series, because this is, again, I bought this series this year. I'd like to read and finish this series this year. So we will see how that goes. So just really quick, this is not really quick. This is a long video, but you know how my vlogs are going to be longer. So just be aware. I do want to put in that this week, I don't know physically what I'm going to read, except at the beginning, or on April 5th, I believe I'm starting my buddy read with Berner, Berner's Books Adventures. We'll be reading The Matchmaker's Lonely Heart by Nancy Campbell Allen. This is the first book in the Matchmaker series. So it's a historical mystery romance. So we'll see how that goes. But I'll start that on Saturday. So that's coming up. I'm hoping at some point I can get to the next Dragonkin novella, which is A Tale of Two Dragons. I don't think I know who these characters are, but again, it's one of the past couples, so I don't know, or you know, they might be the ones who I've heard about, but I didn't know whose parents they were. I don't know. I do have a couple of library books that I need to get to, so this might be my week of reading library books physically after I get done with Powerless. So we'll see. I might not do the ebook until next week, but we'll see. But I do want to read next is Stone Certainty by Simon R. Green. This is book 2 in the Holy Terrors. I think that's the name of the series. The first book was called The Holy Terrors. Yeah, Holy Terrors Mysteries. So if I can get this done by the end, this will be probably my last. I mean, I'm going to finish the Lady Hardcastle tomorrow, but I'm going to try to get to this and finish this tomorrow so that I have my last 2 mysteries. Anyway, this is more paranormal-ish. There is a priest and an actress who they go to haunted locations, and this one has to do with some stones. I'm not sure where this was. I like the first one. Again, Simon R. Green is one of those authors where I like half a series and half I don't, but I love his paranormal stuff usually. So anyway, I'm going to try to get to that. This just came out from the library, so I'm the first to get it. So as I said, I want to try to get it done by the 31st for March Mystery Madness, but if I don't, I don't. And again, it's only 180 pages. Yeah, so we'll see. It matters how fast I can read Powerless today if I can get that started. This week, I'd like to finish Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card. Book number 16, or volume 16 came out, and again, I asked for it from the library, so I have it now. So I'm going to finish this series up. I do have the anime series still checked out from the library. They let me check it out a 3rd time, so I'm gonna try to watch that after I finish this. Not that the anime came out before the end of this series, so it'll end differently. But I wanted to read. I read all the other volumes in in January. So I want to finish the series now that the last book has come out. This is, again, a series I'm not sure I want to buy because I haven't, and there's 16 volumes. I don't know. Maybe I'll wait till, maybe they'll have bind-ups at some point. But Cardcaptor Sakura is one of my favorites by Clamp. Sorry, I didn't say that. And this is like, Cardcaptor Sakura is one that's been going on since the 90s. I don't know. And it's a magical girl series where she gets powers. With a little, wand, and she chases after cards, and she has an animal companion, and I reread the series that I had that I owned, and then I read all the books, the anime that all the volumes that the library had. So again, this is the last one in that series, so I'm hoping to read that this week at some point, and then I have a kind of weird romance I picked up on a whim. This is so we'll see if I get to that this week. Is Puck and Prejudice. It's Rink versus Regency meets Regency by Lila Riley. So I saw somebody talk about this, but I can't remember. I don't think they hadn't read it yet, so I don't know if it's going to be good or not. But this hockey player falls into a lake or something, and then he ends up in Regency, England, and then I think it's, so it's like a modern guy in England, in Regency, England. And I don't know if they're trying to figure out how to get him back to his time, but I don't know what happens. Anyway, so I do have this physically. I did get the audiobook as well, so I could listen to that. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And then I have 2 kind of that cozy, healing fiction kind of thing. I have Leonam's Dong's Smiley Laundromat by Kim Jeon, translated by Shauna Tan. So that's Korean. I don't know. It's something about a book or something found at the laundromat. And then The Blanket Cats by Kiyoshi Shigematsu. This is translated by Jesse Kirkwood. And this is more interconnected short stories about, I think these people take these cats home and they have to take the cat with the blanket that goes with them. And I'm not sure what happens after that. So I do have those as well. So that's a lot of stuff that I want to get to this week. As I said, I'd like to clear, I know I want to do, you see my TBR, I didn't put any of those books on my TBR because again, I collect library books and then I just need to read them. So I'm going to try to clear those out early in April and try to get back to where I'm just reading books I own, but we'll see what happens. So that's it. That's it for now. Cooper is probably thinking I'm taking forever. But as I said, I think I'm going to start vlogging from today on. So it'll be the very end of March. But or maybe I'll start the 1st and I'll just say what I read in the last 2 days. I don't know. We'll see what I do. I haven't decided. As I said, it's been a busy morning. So I'm planning to just relax now and get a few things done, you know, on my computer. Other than that, I think we're it. And then this week, I don't have any, as I said, this is the week before my dental procedure, so I'll probably start getting stressed about that next week. So we'll see what happens. So anyway, let me know what you guys are reading. How is your reading going? How is, like, as I said, I failed at March of the Mammoths, but I definitely participated in March Mystery Madness. Again, I'm hoping to get 2 more books, so I think that'll make me it 9 or will that make that? I think I've read at least 9 so far, I think, books for mysteries, and then I might, as I said, the next couple, I might get a little bit over that. That'd be nice, be like 12 altogether. We'll see what happens. Or 11. We'll see what happens. Anyway, but I am gonna go. So anyway, I should probably sometime this week, I think we'll have my book haul up again as well. That was kind of long. And I did just post a video yesterday about my project to read stuff that Jane Austen had read. So Jane Austen's bookshelf, again, because I loved that biography book, which was really good. Anyway, I think that's it. I guess Cooper and I will see you later. Bye.